What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Locked On Pirates podcast. I am, of course, your host, who does the most, Ethan Smith. Hope you all are having a phenomenal Thursday, June 30th. It is the final day of the month of June, which means we are going to be getting into June superlatives today, as well as previewing the Milwaukee versus Pittsburgh series at PNC Park, a nice little four-game set for everybody to enjoy on this July 4th weekend. The Pittsburgh Pirates, of course, coming off the heels of a phenomenal game from Brian Reynolds. And you guys voted on the superlatives, so we'll see how you guys voted via Twitter. With that said, my name, of course, is Ethan Smith, your host who does the most here at the Locked On Pirates podcast. Thank you for making me your first listen of the day every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Today's episode, of course, is brought to you by LinkedIn, Sports Card Investor, and Bet Online, but we will get into them more later. Make sure you guys follow this podcast on Spotify, Odyssey, YouTube, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And let's get into today's episode.
You are Locked On Pirates, your daily Pittsburgh Pirates podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to that Pirates podcast, everybody. My name is Ethan Smith. As mentioned, your host who does the most. Hope you all again are having a phenomenal Thursday, June 30th, as it is a pregame vibe again, as the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers are set to do battle in Pittsburgh for this four-game series. A very interesting series and a very big one for a Milwaukee Brewers team that is currently leading the NL Central above the St. Louis Cardinals, in a very big series for the Pirates, who are off the heels of a 1-5 road trip against the Tampa Bay Rays and Washington Nationals, but they come back to the safe confines of PNC Park. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers have met a couple times so far this year. The Brewers sitting at 44-33 on the year. The Pirates, of course, sitting at 30-45 after picking up victory number 30 yesterday. I forgot it wasn't a night game. I always forget the Wednesday day games always kind of get lost in the fold there. But the Brewers, winners of 4 of their last 5. The Pittsburgh Pirates, losers of 4 of their last 5. So two teams coming in on very different wavelengths here. The Brewers, of course, sporting a 25-18 record on the road. The Pirates 17-20 in home games. And fun little stat that I love to bring up, because you guys know I love fun stats. It used to be the 5 runs or more rule, but now the Pirates have another fun stat to bring up. They are 20-6 in games where they out-hit their opponent. Meanwhile, the Brewers have the 8th best team ERA in baseball right now at a 3.73. So we will have to see how things roll out for this Pittsburgh Pirates team, who injury-wise are getting back Tucupita Marcano. And guys, I know we've been waiting patiently for this to finally happen, but Yu Chang has been designated for assignment. Tucupita Marcano is returning from the COVID IL finally, but the Pirates are still dealing with some injuries. Jake Marisnick still out, Zach Thompson still out, Yoshi Tsutsugo, Dylan Peters, Ben Gamel, Kevin Newman, Roberto Perez, Greg Allen, David Bednar still out, Blake Cederlin, Nick Mears. The list goes on and on. But the Brewers, on the other hand, also dealing with some injuries right now. Justin Topa, Jake Cousins, Alex Jackson, Freddie Peralta, Hunter Renfroe, Aaron Ashby, and Jonathan Davis, as well as Miguel Sanchez, are all on the IL as of right now. If you want to head to betonline.ag, which again, we'll get into them more later, the Brewers, of course, are favored at minus 128 odds. Pirates 109. The over-under is set at 8.5 runs, so we'll see what happens here, as it'll be Adrian Hauser facing off against JT Brubaker. Of course, two guys who very similar in the whip department. Adrian Hauser very heavily outmatched in the strikeout department against JT Brubaker. 4-8, 4.50 ERA, a 1.45 whip, and 57 strikeouts for Hauser. Meanwhile, JT Brubaker is 1-7, lower ERA, lower whip, lower strikeouts, or higher strikeouts. Sorry. So the Pirates have a bit of an advantage there in the pitching department. Ashby being one of the guys who's not exactly the most sexy on the Brewers pitching staff, that's very good, that features a return of Brandon Woodruff, who had a good game the other day. Freddie Peralta, who is currently injured right now, Corbin Burns. So we'll see how the Pirates are able to attack this Brewers starting pitching rotation, as well as the relievers in Devin Williams and Josh Hader, who are two of the best in all of baseball at what they do. I think it's going to be a very evenly matched series, though, because again, the Pirates are not facing a Brewers team at full strength, but they are facing a Brewers team who is hot off the heels of a sweep against the Tampa Bay Rays and winning 2 out of 3 against the Toronto Blue Jays in games where, much like the Pirates, they were very much close games, all except the 10-3 win against the Toronto Blue Jays and the 9-4 loss against the Blue Jays. They did win 5-4 against the Blue Jays, 5-3 against Tampa Bay in back-to-back games. So it'll be a very interesting watch to see if the Pirates won with that 20-6 record against teams when they out-hit them, if they can out-hit the Brewers, as well as if the pitching staff can continue to do well like they have as of recently. And JT Brubaker, to mention, has had a great go of things as of late. I'm absolutely loving what I'm seeing from JT Brubaker, whose ERA overall is a little bit higher than his ERA at home, which is a 4.06. But again, top 50 in ERA right now, top 50 in strikeouts, top 60 in whip. I really like to see those kind of things. He's pitched 6 or more innings in his last 2 starts, more than 5 innings in 4 of his last 5. He's picked up the win, of course, in that big win against Chicago, but he's allowed some hits in those outings, allowing 6, 7, 5, and 9 hits in those outings. Earned runs wise, though, he has not allowed more than 3 earned runs in his last 4 starts. So I'm really, really excited to see what we get from JT Brubaker tonight. He's kind of cemented himself as the consistent factor outside of Roansy Contreras that we're starting to see in this Pirates starting rotation, which is very much missing Zach Thompson. But Aaron Ashby, on the other hand, if we're going to go ahead and look at how Adrian Hauser, will be the pitcher tonight. Not Aaron Ashby. I apologize. I used the wrong name there. But Adrian Hauser, of course, over his last couple of games, he has 1 start where he did not go 5 innings. He has allowed 5 or more runs in 2 of his last 5 starts and 3 or more runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. So JT Brubaker coming into this game hot. Adrian Hauser coming into this game kind of on the moderate plane, but he's still a very good pitcher, and the Pirates offense has had struggles as of late getting a lot of things going, but we saw Bryan Reynolds yesterday do a very good job of carrying the Pirates team that desperately needed it. And again, no more Yu Chang. The Pirates, of course, released their lineup today. It is going to feature Hayes, Reynolds, Madris, Vogelbach, Van Meter, Cruz, Sawinski, Perez, and Park. Meanwhile, the Brewers will have Yelich, Adames, Tellez, Andrew McCutchen, Colton Wong, Luis Urias, Omar Narvaez, Tyrone Taylor, and Jace Peterson. They do have some success against JT Brubaker, but I do think this is a different JT Brubaker than we are used to seeing. But Pirates Brewers tonight at 7:05 Eastern to kick off this series. I am predicting the Pirates take the momentum that Bryan Reynolds gave them yesterday into this game against Milwaukee, start the series right, and get a win. As far as the series goes, we'll see how things play out, but I'm very excited to see what the Pirates do in the series. I think this is a very fun pitching matchup tonight as well, and I think Brubaker is going to take some of this momentum into this game against the Brewers, give us about 5 or 6 good innings like he's done in his last couple starts. No more than 2 or 3 runs, I don't think, and the Pirates will have a real shot to pull a win out here. By the way, there's been a lot of movement on this Pittsburgh Pirates team. There's been a lot of moving up, moving down the system. And, it happens a lot in the or in your workplace as well. People come and go, and you're always hiring, always looking for the best people to hire. And that is where LinkedIn comes in. As the sun comes out and small businesses are back in business, LinkedIn Jobs makes it easier to grow your team. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the people you want to interview faster and for free. Create a free job in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. I personally work for a small business. It's a coffee shop here in Savannah, Georgia that I love, and it's a small business I got hired on, and they actually found me through LinkedIn. So it even works out for me. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. And make sure to know that terms and conditions apply. But again, make sure you check in with LinkedIn if you're looking for a job. It's always a fun place to go to, always a fun place to get your next start, to get your next influx of income. And by the way, it's always fun to talk to you guys. Of course, it's the Locked On Pirates podcast, your team, your Pittsburgh Pirates every single day. And this is really your guys' episode because I said yesterday on the podcast that we were going to have superlatives. It was going to be a fun time to have superlatives, and I took to Twitter to make sure you guys got your say on the superlatives. I asked a plenty of questions that I really, really enjoyed asking you guys. I thought it was a very fun time, and you gave some good answers. So we are going to start right off the rip with the performance of the month. Of course, the month of June has given us some pretty good performances. We saw Oneil Cruz's 2022 debut, Reynolds' 3-home run game yesterday, and Jack Suwinski's 3-home run game, which led to a victory over the San Francisco Giants 4-3. And as you see on the screen here on YouTube, overwhelmingly, Jack Suwinski's 3-home run game won the voting here at 68.6%, with Reynolds' 3-home run game yesterday against the Nationals at 17.1%, and the debut of Oneil Cruz in 2022 at 14.3%. Looking at these games back again, it was really fun to obviously watch all these games. Jack Suwinski's game, of course, was probably the best out of the bunch, as you guys voted on. 4-3 win over the San Francisco Giants at PNC Park. 3 home runs in the game for the rookie, who really just had a standout month for the most part. He's continued to keep himself on this team despite the low batting average because of the fact that he's hitting the home run ball, because of the fact that he's contributing to runs on the team. A lot of different factors have led to Jack Suwinski having a strong month of June. And I like to go look at what Jack Suwinski has done over the past 30 days. And Jack Suwinski, for the most part, again, hitting 209 on the season, not the greatest stats, but again, think he should definitely etch himself in the Rookie of the Year conversation. 12 home runs, 22 RBIs, and 82 at-bats. And you look at his last 30 games, he's slashing 232, 327, and 485 with 7 home runs, 11 RBIs, 12 walks to his credit. And the strikeout number could be a little bit better, but 99 at-bats and 7 home runs, you'll take that all day. And over his last couple of games, he's not done as well. He does have 2 hits in those games. But again, what a month for him. Over his last 15, he's kind of cooled down a little bit, but you guys decided he had the performance of the month against the San Francisco Giants, and I could not agree more. We then move to the surprise of the month. The options for the surprise of the month were Bly Madris, Jack Suwinski, Diego Castillo, and Yuri De Los Santos. Of course, not surprising, you guys voted for Bly Madris overwhelmingly with this one. Bly Madris leading the vote with 63.6%. Jack Suwinski, 15.2%, alongside Diego Castillo, who was also at 15.2%, and 6.1% for up-and-coming reliever Yuri De Los Santos. We look at Bly Madris, who made his regular season and MLB debut in 2022 for the Pirates this month. 35 at-bats, 314 average, 828 OPS, 1 home run, 6 RBIs. Last 15 games, that's pretty much the story for him. 11 hits on that, 514 slugging, a 314 on-base percentage, and a 314 average. Madris was one of those guys that was raking in AAA. He was doing absolutely phenomenal. The Pirates bring him up with Oneil Cruz, lefty bat, a very versatile defensive player, being able to play the outfield, being able to play first base. I think that's what's going to keep him on this team for the remainder of 2022. I would really expect Madris to continue to do well. Again, not playing every single day, not expecting him to play every single day, but in O'Neal Cruz's debut, which was up for performance of the month, Bly Madris had a great day as well. If you guys remember that game, I mean, how could you forget it? It was one of the better games that we got to see all year. And Bly Madris, again, a guy who sat in the minors for a very long time, age 26, finally gets his call up. And I always like to bring up his minor league stats: a 304 average with 5 home runs and 20 RBIs with a 904 OPS this year. His career 262, 740 OPS with 215 RBIs and 36 home runs. You can't go wrong with that kind of thing, you know. And Madris was just an awesome guy to bring up. And you guys agree that he is the surprise of the month. One more superlative to cut it in half, because we had 6 before we get into another break, was the relief pitcher of the month. There was 3 options here because there's really been 3 main guys coming out of the bullpen. David Bednar, Wil Crowe, and Yerry De Los Santos were all up for this superlative for the month of June. David Bednar wins this one overwhelmingly with a 61.1 vote. Wil Crowe gets 5.6 of the percent of the votes, and so Santos gets 1/3 of the votes here at 33.3. David Bednar, right now, a question mark as of late. He has been injured with a lower back strain. They don't know what's really going on with him that much. Right-handed pitcher. We all know about David Bednar. 3-2 record, 1.78 ERA, and 35 1/3 innings pitched with 49 strikeouts. You look at the last 30 days for him, a 1.78 ERA again. 20. He's only given up 21 hits, 35 1/3, a 0.88 WHIP. To his credit, 49 strikeouts, only 7 runs allowed over that time. And we've seen Bednar all year be this guy that has given the Pirates not only the 8th and the 9th inning, but sometimes he's went 3 innings or more. And I really like what I've seen from Bednar, a career 2.78 guy, over 113 1/3 innings pitched, 145 strikeouts. We've heard his name in rumblings about possibly being traded. The Mars, PA native, I highly doubt gets traded here. I think the Pirates have all of their intentions in keeping Bednar, especially in a bullpen that has just not been that great as of late. And David Bednar, when he plays in the 28 appearances that he does have, he is anchor in this bullpen. He's an anchor for this team. His energy is very, very contagious. You really enjoy what you like to see from David Bednar, and you guys overwhelmingly voted for him for relief pitcher of the month. We will get into the remainder of the superlatives here in just a moment, but I want to let you guys know about, of course, one of my favorites here on the Locked On Podcast Network, Sports Card Investor. Welcome to the world of sports cards reimagined. The Sports Card Investor app is the hobby's most powerful resource. Quickly check the value of your favorite cards, find great deals, and profit from the hobby you love. Available completely free in the Google Play and Apple App Stores, the Sports Card Investor app is a must-have for baseball fans. Of course, it's completely free, and you can easily browse over 630,000 cards from every sport, with hundreds more added each week, and check the latest values of your favorite cards with 7 days or 30-day charts. And find the best prices and buy directly through the app with our eBay deals feature. When you're a casual card collector, or you're looking for exciting alternative investment opportunities, the free Sports Card Investor app has something for you. You interested in breakout stars or prospects debuting? Well, you can check the value of or find great deals on their first cards, as players like Adley Rutschman, Jeremy Pena, O'Neal Cruz, Bly Madris, and more make the jump to the big leagues. And you can use the free Sports Card Investor app to check the prices of and buy their first baseball cards. Are you nostalgic and like old players and legends? Well, go back in time and see how much your favorite old cards are worth today. With the free Sports Card Investor app, you could pull out those old cards of your favorite childhood players and see how much they are worth today, and also stay up to date on all of the latest record-breaking baseball card sales with the completely free Sports Card Investor app. Personal cards, of course, again, my mom is a big hockey collector, so I can check all the stuff that I want to see for her sports cards, and make sure you download the Sports Card Investor app today, available for free in the Google Play and Apple App Stores, or go to sportscardinvestor.com/locked on. Today's episode is also brought to you by the wonderful people over at Bet Online. I already mentioned the odds earlier today for Pirates versus Brewers, over 8.5 runs. The Brewers are favored in this game. So if you think the Pirates have a chance to upset their rivals from Milwaukee, the Brew Crew, then make sure you go to BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs, which just wrapped up, and Major League Baseball. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. And betonline.net remains the best spot for all of your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And betonline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your favorite sports and events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. And BetOnline is where the game starts. Again, as I mentioned, if you want to go check out the blinds, if you want to bet on JT Brubaker to have a phenomenal game, if you want to bet on any Pirates player to have a good game, make sure you go to betonline.net right now. And of course, welcome back to the Locked On Pirates podcast for everybody listening. Thank you guys so much, as always, for listening to this podcast. And we're going to get back into the superlatives that I asked about on Twitter today. The next one, of course, goes to the starting pitcher of the month. Zach Thompson, Mitch Keller, JT Brubaker, and Roansy Contreras were all up for this award. Roansy Contreras gets it overwhelmingly at 60%, JT Brubaker at 33.3%, Mitch Keller at 6.7%, and Zach Thompson receives 0% of the votes. Roansy Contreras is one of my favorite players on this team. 2.76 ERA, 1.35 whip. I've loved what I've seen from him so far. His ERA is even lower, by the way. If you look at his career regular season, 2.58 ERA with a 1.35 whip. Over his last 15 games, it's pretty much what I told you already. But we also get into the fact that he has 42 strikeouts to 19 walks. He has had a little bit of an issue with giving the free pass to guys, but he's only allowed 13 runs on the entire year so far, 42 and 1/3 innings pitched. Over his last 3 starts, he's won about 5 innings in all of them. He has not given up more than 3 earned runs in those, and that started with that June 15th game against the St. Louis Cardinals. Loving what I'm seeing for Roansy so far. Loved what I saw from him in his short stint last year. Loved what I saw in AAA. I definitely think you guys hit this one on the nose for starting pitcher of the month. I think Roansy is going to continue to do well here. I think he's going to cement himself up there among the top rookie pitchers in baseball. I think he has a real shot to even potentially be in the Rookie of the Year conversation for the Pittsburgh Pirates if he continues to perform the way he is. Last game against the Rays, of course, he had an issue with the free pass with 5 walks, but he only allowed 1 run. He had more walks than he allowed hits, so you'll take that any given day of the week. And Roansy Contreras is your June starting pitcher of the month. We then move on to the Rookie of the Month. Some fun names here to cover. Jack Suwinski, Diego Castillo, O'Neill Cruz, and Bly Madris. And surprisingly, Jack Suwinski with the overwhelming victory here at 66.7%. Diego Castillo and O'Neill Cruz both at 5.6%. And Bly Madris actually beat out O'Neill Cruz at 22.2%. I think Suwinski, again, I think his month, as I alluded to earlier, speaks for itself. I think him winning Rookie of the Month and cementing himself fully into the Rookie of the Year conversation is really what's going to happen here for the rest of the year. Again, I would like to see that average come up, but you're starting to notice that Suwinski's just that guy. He's not that guy that is going to have the 250, 260 average. He's the guy that's going to get you home runs. He's going to find a way to get on base. He's going to find a way to continue to make things happen, and he's going to find a way to contribute to the offense. And his last 30 games, as I mentioned earlier, you'll take a 232 average with 7 home runs from Jack Suwinski any day of the week. In his last 15 games, 4 home runs, 6 RBIs, 7 walks. You take that. That's the kind of thing you like. Although his average over those last 15 games was a 188, he's posting a 304 on-base percentage, 479 slugging. That'll play on this team for a team that is struggling offensively. Jack Suwinski wins Rookie of the Month. I agree with you guys 1,000,000,000%. And you know, it's really good. It's really fun to see that Jack Suwinski, a guy that a lot of people didn't really have on their radar going into this year, is getting votes like this for Rookie of the Month and getting good recognition. He wins Performance of the Month, Rookie of the Month, Shouts out to Jack Sawinski here for our superlatives. And we're going to wrap up today's podcast with the final superlative being Player of the Month. Bryan Reynolds, Jack Sawinski, David Bednar, and Oneil Cruz were all up for this award. And overwhelmingly, to no one's surprise, Bryan Reynolds wins this award for Player of the Month. 73.7%. So 15.8%, Bednar at 10.5%. Oneil Cruz receiving 0% of the votes here. Talked about Bryan Reynolds at length yesterday. He's brought his average up to a 258, 15 home runs, 31 RBIs. But you look at his last 30 days, man, he's batting 313, 357, 600 slugging, 9 home runs, 21 RBIs, one stolen base. Dude, the guy's been awesome. I mean, you look at his game yesterday, the 3 home runs that won performance of the month, or almost won performance of the month from you guys. A lot of people were really worried about Bryan Reynolds, and I was getting to that point. June came around, and Bryan Reynolds flipped the switch. You knew he was going to come back and do well. You knew Bryan Reynolds was going to do his thing, and he's starting to be talked about in the trade conversation again, but I don't think the Pirates' intentions right now are to trade Bryan Reynolds. Age 27, you have him under control through 2025, going into the 2026 season. I think an extension could happen at that point. Would this be the time to trade Bryan Reynolds? I do think so, because if you are going to trade him, I don't think Ben Cherington's price from now to last year has changed much. I think he would be expecting 2 top 100 prospects, an MLB ready player, and maybe another prospect. I don't think the Pirates have any intention of trading Bryan Reynolds, and they shouldn't have any intentions of trading Bryan Reynolds. As I said on Twitter earlier today, I think Bryan Reynolds has been a top 10 center fielder and even almost a top 10 outfielder to date from last year. And albeit that's including the slow start to the year that he had. You guys say that Bryan Reynolds is the June Player of the Month. I couldn't agree more. I think Bryan Reynolds had a phenomenal month of June, and I think we got to start calling him Mr. June. That's what I'm going to start calling Bryan Reynolds. And we'll see if Bryan Reynolds can wrap up his amazing month of June tonight against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Pirates will try to enter the month of July on a 2-game winning streak. I think they have the tools to do it tonight with JT Brubaker on the mound. And with that said, guys, on tomorrow's episode, we're going to be recapping Game 1 of the series, talking about everything going on in the world of the Pittsburgh Pirates, as we always do here on Locked On Pirates, where it's your team every single day. Make sure you go check out Lindsey Crosby, who will be live during this year's MLB draft. He has all of the coverage you need so far about what the Pirates might be doing at number 4 and what the teams ahead of them might be doing for the MLB draft. So if you're interested in that, go check him out. And guys, have a wonderful Thursday evening. Enjoy tonight's game. Hopefully the Pirates will be raising the Jolly Roger. My name is Ethan Smith, and I will see you guys on the flip side.